Yes.
Okay, you guys took me out of my mojo. Okay. Do you believe in signs? You know, like from people that have died? I'm not sure I do. I mean, my mom and I we were so close. So close. And when she died, I figured that as close as we were, if there were a thing such as signs, surely she would send me one. But she didn't. It was me that would go looking for her. My mom lived with my sister Lisa, so I'd go to my sister Lisa's house because she had all kinds of my mom's things. And she had a tub of some of my mom's clothes in there, and I don't know, I'd go in there and open up the bin and just put something of hers, a nightgown or something, to my face, just to smell the smell of her. I took down a box with all of the letters she had written me, letters she had written to me when I was in college, and ones she had written to me when I lived in Pennsylvania and North Carolina. I read all of the letters, just to read her words, to hear the sound of her voice in my head. And I read A Tree Grows in Brooklyn because, I don't know, maybe it was the time period, but Francie reminded me of my mom, and so reading A Tree That Grows in Brooklyn was like being with her. But I went looking for her, but I never did see a sign of her coming to me. In the years she'd been gone, she was just gone. Never a sign. Never until the house that found me. I'm a real estate agent and I see all kinds of houses, and one of the coolest things about my job is when I'm with clients and they find the one, the house, the perfect just for them house. The look on their faces as they're falling in love, there's such certainty to it. It's as though the house has found them. But I wasn't looking for a house when the house found me. It was a weekend in early June of 2015. My brother Michael was in town from Tennessee. And ever since my brother Michael and his family moved to Tennessee, they would talk about moving back here. And so when he would come to visit on the weekends, we would talk houses, where he'd like to live, houses that were on the market, houses that had sold. And because he was thinking about moving back, I'm sure he would have liked to have gone to look at houses, but I'd be working on weekends, you know, showing houses to people that were actually gonna buy a house. But on that weekend in June, when Michael came to visit, I didn't have any appointments. And our talking about houses turned into, how about if we go see some? And I told him to pick some houses and I'd make the appointments. He'd be looking mostly in Orland Park, but I suggested he choose a couple from Lockport. Lockport has a good price point and some pretty cool neighborhoods, I told him. Me, my family and I, we lived in Orland Park in a little rental house. We'd sold our house just before the market crashed. My kids were just finishing up high school, and I don't know, I thought maybe we'd move one day, maybe to a condo or a townhouse, but I didn't know, and I certainly wasn't thinking about it. So my brother picks out houses and I make the appointments. It's Saturday. And though it's June, it's cold and dreary, and we set out to see them. Looking at houses in crummy weather isn't really all that much fun, so it strikes me as funny when my sister Jane says, "I'll go with you." I love looking at houses. So we see a couple of places in Orland Park, and then we make our way to our next appointment, a house in Lockport. I'd seen it come on the market, and it sort of sparked my curiosity, so I was glad Michael had chosen it. 1015 East 8th Street, a little brick two-story built in 1963, the year I was born. And we get out of the car and make our way in the drizzling rain to the front stoop, and as I fumble with the lockbox, I'm admiring the front door. It's this thick wooden door, it's black, and has these 3 recessed panels, has sort of a mid-century vibe to it, and I like it. And I noticed that the mailbox is right there at the front door, and I think that's pretty cool too. And as I'm putting the key in the door, I turn to Jane and Michael and I tell them, I think this is gonna be a pretty good house. And I open the door and I let them in ahead of me, and they walk in and walk straight towards what I think is the kitchen. And I'm just standing in the foyer, just 2 feet in front of the door, inside the front door. And already, I like this house. To the left, I can see that there's some stairs, and to the right, there are these French doors, and I go through the French doors, and there's a stoop, and there's a step down into the living room. And there in the living room is this huge picture window, and it's framed out in these rectangles, framed in wood, and I don't know what the wood is, but it's beautiful to me. In the corner, there's this awkwardly placed fireplace. You know, a fireplace in the corner is awkwardly placed, and it's surrounded by paneling, but not like cheesy paneling, like real paneling, like Mad Men paneling, and I think that is beautiful too. And then there's a step up into the dining room. In the dining room, it too has this big, huge wall of window that looks out onto the patio, into the detached garage. I see houses all the time, pretty updated houses, houses with hardwood floors, gorgeous houses. And I had just never felt like this in any house before. And the real estate agent in me is like, seriously, Amy? I mean, I can tell the house has been well taken care of, but nothing's been changed. The master bedroom, it's more like a master nursery. There's no walk-in closet, there's no master bath, there's a floral wallpaper thing with pink roses on it. But there's a really pretty corner window. And the bathroom's down the hall, and the bathtub and the sink and the tile, it's purple. And there's a white Formica countertop with gold flecks, and I love it. And I like the upstairs bathroom too. It's just like the one downstairs, only its sink, tub, and tile is pink. But it's got the same countertop. I'm falling in love, but there's inner dialogue going on in my head. The real estate agent, Amy, thinks I'm crazy. She can't think of anyone she's ever shown a house to that would go for this one. It's none of the things buyers are looking for. There's no family room, it's no open concept, no master suite or spa like master bath. There's not a hardwood floor in the place. The trim's not even white. But it doesn't matter. I hadn't seen all of it yet, and I knew. I love this house, every outdated inch of it. I love it. And I'm making my way back downstairs when Michael and Jane called to me. Amy, come here. They're in the kitchen. I hadn't even gotten there yet. But when they call me, I go. In the kitchen, oh my goodness, in a moment I take it all in. The floor is vinyl, the cabinets are original, those appliances are original. What is that thing over the stove? It looks like a huge microwave. It's a warmer of some sort, and there's tape on the door. Oh, but look at the light fixture. Oh my gosh, it's just like the one we had in my house growing up. One of those little metal ones with the fabric cord where you pull the light down or push it up. So the three of us are in the kitchen, and Jane's in front of a cabinet with the door open. She says, look at this. And I go over there, and on the shelf with some dishes is a Post-it note. And on the Post-it note it says, save for Amy. She pulls open a drawer, and there's silverware that's too just like the silverware we had when I was a kid. And there's another note, and it says, save for Amy too. Get out. And my sister says, I think this is supposed to be your house. Supposed to be my house. This can't be supposed to be my house. I'm not in the market for a house. I'm just out showing houses to my brother, who I'm not sure will ever buy a house. I'm not looking for a house. But I do love this house. Is it possible this house is looking for me? Was it my mom? Was my mom silent after all these years, giving me a sign? Save for Amy? I mean, what are the chances that Jane and Michael and I would be out looking at houses on this day and find this one? What are the chances it had been built in the year I was born? What are the chances it would have the same silverware and light fixture we had when I was a kid? What are the chances I'd have fallen in love with it? What are the chances there'd be a note? What are the chances there'd be two? Save for Amy. Was this house supposed to be mine? That would be just silliness. I'm not buying a house. But when I go home, I tell my husband, I saw a house today. And I tell him the story and I ask him, can you just go check it out for me? And when I tell you, my husband and I, we agree on almost nothing. Nothing. So I figure he can go see the house and he can come back and he can tell me he hates it, and I can just put this whole Save for Amy house right out of my head. But damn if he doesn't go see it and he likes it too. And now we both love this house, but we can't buy this house. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but being a real estate agent and trying to get a mortgage, you know, they want your tax returns and your paycheck stubs. Only when you're a real estate agent, you may not get a paycheck for months, so there's just no stubs to show. So I'm thinking there's no way we can get approved. But Dave says, let's just try. I don't think it will work, but okay. I'm gonna ask Pam. She's the loan officer in my office and she's super nice. And because she's super nice, I won't have to be super embarrassed when she tells me no. So the next day, I pop into her office, I have my tax returns, and I ask her if she could just see if she thinks we might be able to get a loan. And Pam comes back. She says, Amy, you can buy that house. Oh my goodness, we are gonna buy this house because if Pam says we can get a mortgage, the rest is up to me. And I'm a real estate agent and I am good at what I do, so we got this. So I do my real estate thing, I write up the offer, I include the comparable sales, a copy of the approval letter from Pam, a copy of the earnest money check, and I don't even try to play it cool, I just tell them I love this house, and I send the offer off. And maybe they're gonna come back with a counter, but I know we'll say yes. So I do a happy dance because I know that the house that found me is going to be mine. Except they don't make a counter offer. Everything comes to a screeching halt. This is not how it works. The agent calls me and she tells me the seller wants to have an appraisal done on the house before they respond to the offer. It's an estate sale and all the siblings have to agree. It's going to take a week or two. An appraisal? A week or two? This is not how it works, and clearly they don't understand. They don't get from the time that I saw this house till I sent that offer over, everyone knows about this house. Everyone in my family knows about it. Hell, nearly everyone's seen it, and we're all in agreement. It's supposed to be mine. Save for Amy. Days and days go by before we hear a word, but finally it happens. They come back with a counter, and of course we say yes. And I text everyone, we got the house. And my phone blows up, yay, congratulations, finally. And it's my niece, Lindsay, that texts back, how appropriate that it should happen today. Today. It hadn't dawned on me what day it was, but it was June 18th, my mom's birthday. Do you believe in signs? Thing is, I'm still not sure I do. I mean, the whole thing could be explained by coincidence. Those Post-it notes, those were written by Margaret Haller or one of her children. The dishes, the silverware, they were for Margaret's granddaughter. Her name is Amy. And June 18th, it's my mom's birthday, but it's also just the day an appraisal came back and Margaret Haller's children got together and decided to respond to the offer on their mom's house. So I don't know if I believe in signs, but I know that I believe that believing in them makes them so, because my soul mingles with hers in the house that I love. My favorite spot in my house is on the couch that's right in front of the big picture window in the living room. It's where I watch TV, it's where I read, it's where I write, it's where I meditate, it's where I contemplate, and it's where I'm sitting when I get the blues, and I do get the blues. When life's worries and uncertainties get the best of me. And it is always then that she comes to me and calms me just a bit. I gaze out that beautiful picture window, and no matter what it is that I'm worried about, no matter what has me blue, no matter whatever uncertainties there are, she gives me this thing that I cling to. The belief that what's most certain is I'm supposed to be here, and that somehow, some way, she had something to do with making it happen. On that cold, rainy day in early June, Jane and Michael and I walked in the door of a house, and I fell in love. Like I've seen my clients do a countless number of times. A house found me. But unlike my clients, I wasn't looking for a house. I wasn't buying a house. Me, I guess I needed a sign.